The vertebral column, your spinal cord, is part of your central highway of information that runs from the brain through to the nervous system and the parasympathetic nervous system. So we're going to look today at giving the spinal cord a bit of a massage. Firstly, find yourself in a comfortable seated position, whether that be in a chair, on the floor, cross-legged, kneeling, or sitting on your buttocks with your legs extended forward. Just rest your hands either on your knees, palms down or palms up, or rest them in your lap, however they feel most comfortable. We're going to close the eyes to give us preparation time to tune in and link with our flow of breath, and to also connect with the vertebral column, the 33 bones of your spine, to check on our posture and to observe whether we are hunched or stooping. If we carry our head correctly, centered over our shoulders, or whether we have the chin tipping down too far or the head back too far, all of which can put extra pressure or stress on the vertebral column. You might like to put a wall behind you so that you may rest the spine up the wall, bringing the shoulder blades towards each other, the shoulders back, so that they connect with the wall. Or if you are practicing this on your mat, you take the shoulders back, you draw the shoulders down and away from the ears, and you centralise your head, the heaviest part of your body, over your shoulders, and your head and shoulders over your hips. Breathe in and breathe out, and link with the synchronicity of your chest and your belly rising and falling. And then open the eyes, bring the knees together now, and bring yourself round into a seated position with the legs bent, the soles of the feet on the floor in front of you. Now, if you feel that you have quite a bony spine, you might like to place an extra layer of folded blanket or cushioning on the mat beneath you, as long as it's quite thin and low, just a little bit of extra comfort. For we are going to practice the rock and roll, which is a massage of all the bones of the spine. Don't judge yourself if at first it doesn't work out. Again, it's one of those where you persist with your attempts, try it again, and soon the rock and roll will be yours. So, from a seated position with your knees bent, you're going to bring your arms to connect behind your hamstrings, and you just make a connection of one hand round the opposite wrist. Either way, we'll be practicing with both, swapping them over to keep both sides of the brain active and enlightened. So because you're going to be rolling up and down the 33 bones of the spine, we do want to make the spine rounded. So we will be rounding the shoulders forward, tilting the pelvis and scooping the belly. We want to feel like we could almost get a ball between our thighs and our torso, which will allow us to round. Drop your chin to your chest. just come up onto the toes. You will take a breath in to roll backwards and a breath out to roll forwards. When you roll forwards to your exhalation, you want to keep the head, the heaviest part of the body, progressing forward. That will give you the momentum to come up and forwards. So we'll give it a go now. You can either watch as I do the first couple of rounds, or you can join in immediately, whatever is good for you. So it's a breath in to roll back, and a breath out to come forwards. You want to ensure that as you do come forward, you don't come down too heavily and drop the feet and jolt or jar the back. So you want to keep it nice and light on the feet, and in time you'll be able to do it where you can control, and as you come up your toes don't even touch the floor. It's about engaging the stomach muscles as well. They're the powerhouse for keeping the spine strengthened and solid, secure. So let's give it a go, see if we can roll backwards and forwards, maybe up to 10 times if you can. Acknowledging as well along the way that you do keep the breath flowing and you avoid clenching the teeth and pulling any tension in around the neck or the throat. Remember to scoop the belly. Unclench the teeth and breathe. So do that a couple more times and then arrive back at a central position. Now if you find that you're rolling back and then you just can't come forward, that possibly means that you've lost the roundness of your spine. As you've gone back, you've let your head go all the way back and connect with the mat, which you don't need to. Keep your chin to your chest in a relaxed and composed state. You don't have to grit it and pull it in too firmly. It's about having that fluidity, that softness within you whilst you're creating the movement. Breath equals movement and movement equals breath. So once you have as good as mastered that part of the rock and roll, you can take it a little further, whereby as you go back you'll take your feet over your head to touch near the floor or on the floor, and then as you come forward you'll stretch your legs forward and move into a forward bend. So I'll show you that a couple of times and then you can join in. So as you take yourself back as well, you can use your hands to catch on the back of the hamstrings or near the buttocks to just help you over a little bit more. So give it a go. You'll start from the same foundation position as you do for the rock and roll, and then you'll extend with the legs as they go over. So again, it will be a nice rounded spine, chin drop down, breathe in and just flick the hips up and over so that the toes can come down towards the floor. And it doesn't matter if they don't get all the way over, even if you get to here and then you can bring yourself back up. It's all a work in progress, moving along in increments. So let's try that again and see if you can do it up to 10 times. Keep the breath flowing, teeth unclenched, skin on the face soft. Unfurrow your brows. Sometimes when we concentrate, it will make us furrow into the forehead, and we want to avoid that as well.
See if you can get a nice flow happening with your movement. So there's no jerking or rigidness. You're keeping it quite surrendered and loose. Connecting all the bones of the spine as you move, and that's where the massage of the vertebral column is coming into play. It helps release endorphins into your system, which we all know endorphins can help lift the mood.
And then see if you can stay with the legs over the head, toes touching to the ground. If the toes aren't touching to the ground and you find that you're hovering about in mid-air, you could always practice with a chair or even a pile of cushions just under the feet, so you could actually rest and be supported. Have a gulp through the mouth just to release the airways. And then gently allow the spine to roll down to connect with the mat. Keep your thighs as close to the trunk of your body as you can. And then following on from our practice of yesterday, lowering the legs, using the abdominal muscles, coming down slowly, with control, and then releasing into Savasana, pose of serenity. Let your toes drop away from each other, let your arms roll outward, rest the backs of your hands into the mat. And surrender your body weight into the ground beneath you. Soften and release in the shoulders. And then we'll take a breath in, draw both knees in towards the chest, and then roll yourself up into a cross-legged position. Rising up through the trunk of the body, and if you feel that you just need a little bit of a boost underneath your sit bones to just rise up, to assist in rising up through the torso, then use a cushion. It's a great working tool. So tune in and become aware of how you feel internally and externally. And with the progression on from yesterday, whereby we connected with our heartbeat, today let's connect with the stomach, and it's a very simple technique that allows this. Let's take the thumb on the right or left hand, whichever is comfortable for you, and put the thumb into your belly button. You might like to close the eyes for this. It's a gentle pressure of the thumb in the belly button whilst you're still observing your breath and you're aware of the rise and fall of your chest. And then swallow. And experience the connection of, as you swallow at the throat, how it travels down immediately and finds that connection with your thumb in the belly button. Just try that once more, so you've got gentle pressure of your thumb in your belly button. Watch the breath in and out, and then swallow. And then gently release. This simple technique, practiced occasionally, every now and then, just helps restore your connection
with your digestive tract and opens you up to new potential with your diet and understanding what you take in through the mouth and its journey, how far it has to go. So yeah, it's very simple but very effective. Closing the eyes once again, relaxing and surrendering the shoulders, and breathing in and out. Now let's do a twist of the torso to keep those digestive fires burning. We've made our connection with the stomach, and now let's look at twisting and utilising the abdominals within the twist. So we're going to bring ourselves to extend our legs out in front of us. You can still use your cushion underneath your sit bones if you want. You may find that after many hours, months or years of working at a desk possibly, that your posture is a little bit rounded, a bit stooped, your ribs crush down into your stomach, which would obstruct the fresh flow of blood there. You're going to have to start tilting the pelvic region to rectify straight in the spine. Simple, another simple technique, and you can start by bringing the right hand to grab the flesh of the right buttock and just scoop that flesh and pull it up into the back. Avoid pulling it out to the side of the hip. You want to pull it up into the small of the back, and you'll just feel that it does actually sit you further forward. And then you do the left hand side, and that brings you to rest on the greater foundation of your pubis. So rather than having this slumped effect, you've tilted, which actually gives you a head start on your forward bend. We'll link the thumbs and just observe for a moment whether you have caught the thumbs in the way that you always would. And if so, just try it on the other side. Bring the opposite thumb to catch first. It'll feel a bit strange, and that way you know you've altered the hands. Breathe in, take the hands above the head, lift up, and avoid just lifting the upper part of the body. Avoid bringing your shoulders up to your ears. You're actually taking the mind deep down into the pelvic girdle and the waist, and you're asking all of that to lift and create space. So you're actually pulling up internally, lifting the stomach, making room, so that then on your breath out you can begin to hinge over. Unclench the teeth and be observant as you stretch forward, for the ego might step in and say, I immediately want to touch those toes, I immediately want to reach forward, which would possibly bring a slump in again too soon. So you want to be going forward with a continual straight spine. So get to the point that is good for you, and if it means that you then have to rest your hands on your shins, even on your upper thighs, it's better to be working in correct alignment than going too far and stooping and blocking a good blood circulation. But if you can reach to the toes, great. If you have caught your toes, have a think about it. Have you pulled tension in? Have you, because of your trying to get to your feet so much, have you pulled your shoulders up to your ears? They need to stay relaxed. And remember also, because the journey, the aim is to reach the toes,
Are your toes pointing away from you? Can you draw your toes back in towards you? Which effectively increases what the legs are doing to help with the movement. It engages and activates the muscles and the tendons and the ligaments in the leg. Again, taking it nice and easy, there's no force required.
Let go of the back of the neck. Take the creases out of the back of the neck. So the eyes will be looking towards the shin. Or maybe looking at bringing the nose between the knees. Tune in to the stomach. Know that when you breathe in, you could lift it and create room. Know that when you breathe out, you will surrender. And then gently bring the hands either side of the feet. Pull the tummy in, support the spine,
Restack the vertebral column and come back into your upright position. Now, a great extension of this posture, seated forward bend, Paschimottanasana, is to have a cushion on your shins so that when you next move into the posture you can rest your head and you can stay in the position for a good 2 or 3 minutes, if you're comfortable, 5 minutes, and it really helps you tune in to the stomach, to the heart, and to release the ego. So let's go for another forward bend. And if you do have a cushion or a blanket, place it on your shins, link the thumbs, rise up through the torso, lift the hips up from the femur bones and hinge forward. Taking your time as you descend so that you can observe your alignment. You want to look at keeping the insides of the upper arms brushing along the ears as you lower. And then get to the point where you're comfortable. If you can, relax the elbows and forearms and hands alongside your shins, then do so. And in the fullness of the posture, surrender any tension that you may be harbouring. And become aware of the space within that you are obtaining with every inhalation. And experience the surrender with every exhalation. And if you want to stay in the position for longer and feel comfortable to do so, then that's great practice. Or if not, we're going to walk our hands out of the posture. We're going to re-stack the bones of the spine. And we're going to bring ourselves into a cross-legged position. You could also take a kneeling position now. It's a time for reflection, contemplation, to draw the nourishment of the practice, allow it to settle within all the cells and tissues of your body.
You might like to close the eyes to achieve a greater level of inward perception of this. Really experiencing the transformation taking place in your mind, in your body, from your patient practice. And then you'll open the eyes, bring the palms of the hands together into the prayer posture at the heart, the place of all truth. To give thanks for your practice, to give thanks for the beauty of yoga, the grace that it gives. And take forward with you through the day a sense of gratitude and a feeling of the abundance that is out there and that is yours for the taking, universal abundance. Stay positive and stay safe in the knowledge that yoga is good for you.